Hello there, YouTube. This is Sibbles and Bits back at it again with another Inkbound Daily. Today is the solo daily for April 22nd, and today we are going to be playing Cloak with Everfrost of Arcturia, going from Benchwood into Proving Grounds and then up against Argoloth. Um, Frostcloak, talking about the trinket here. Frostcloak is pretty decent. They deal a lot of hits, and you very rarely get into the situation where you're applying more frostbite than you use, which is always a problem in single player and much better in multiplayer because all you have to do is scale your magic power and afflict as much frostbite as you want, and then everybody else basically gets to utilize your damage on their turn, which is efficient. That's called a support. Um, in this game on single player, yeah, you sort of reach like this weird situation where like obviously you have the one obelisk ascension that scales off of frostbite. Again, I'm talking about previous patch because I haven't played a whole lot of this patch, so I could be talking about stuff that isn't even true. So I apologize if that's the case. If I am, feel free to correct me down in the comments. My apologies. Um, and I believe there is a not a good one, but there is one for Star Captain as well. But generally speaking, you don't really do anything with extra stacks of Frostbite. So as long as you're able to keep Frostbite like above how much you're using, like any more than that is useless. So Frostbite was in kind of a rough spot last patch, and by proxy, so was Star Captain, who admittedly, his drones will also proc Frostbite, so he could use twice as much as everybody else, but still, you would get to cases where you just have way too much Frostbite, and so then you're just applying more damage that you're never going to see, and it just wasn't efficient. And unfortunately, all of the, or most of the vestiges that gave you Frostbite set or access to Frostbite would usually by themselves cap frostbite. So you would collect more of the sets, and again, last patch, there was no reason to like collect multiple frostbite vestiges because you're just wasting a vestige slot, and the set itself also wasn't even good. Hopefully, the new set will be better, and I'll take a look at that. Otherwise, start with Withered Tracks. I don't know what this does now. Before it was you cannot be rooted and you gain movement. Spicy Foes is incredibly spicy with Cloak because we specialize in dealing a lot of damage with Flurry is pretty much our payout, and in doing so we're going to deal a lot of damage to ourselves. So getting Shielding Flurry as soon as possible is kind of important for our run here. Otherwise we're going to take damage, and then if we take damage then we're not going to have full health, so then we're going to lose health bonus, and then potentially versus the boss we're not going to have full health bonus scaling for the end of the run unless we have like a whole bunch of extra health. So that's something that we gotta keep in mind is we gotta solve this. And again, for Cloak, it's particularly spicy. We do again have Shielding Flurry, and we have Shielding Dash. So those are two things that we can use to actually be one of the tankiest characters in the game, even though they're supposed to be glass cannon. We're not going to get into that. Um, yeah. And then, of course, we have down here Brawl. Bindings no longer use cooldowns. This is mostly okay. Uh, like, it's pretty good for stacking multiple mark, but multiple mark doesn't do anything, or at least it didn't before. It would just be instances of double damage. If they now stack additively, that's pretty positive, honestly. But usually when you see Brawl, what you're looking for is either stacking as much DOT as possible, because those vestiges are scaled now around having longer cooldowns so that you can't stack as fast. So being able to break that in any way is like very good for you. Otherwise, what you're mainly looking for is what can I reduce down to 0 cooldown? We can reduce, well, Quicken is actually already 0 cost, 0 cooldown. That's what I meant, sorry. What can we reduce down to 0 will cost? Quicken already is there, which is interesting, but the whole point of Quicken would be to, I don't know, what are the new augs on that? We might be able to utilize that. You can get Adrenaline or Invigorate down to 0 cost. That's okay. It's a way to get damage for free every turn, but otherwise, like, you have an infinite doing what? I don't know. I guess Quicken would give you unlimited movement, so there is that, but is that actually useful? I don't think that, like, there's a lot of things that scale off of movement, but I don't exactly know what they are anymore. Or, again, if they changed or got off of that because it was such a pain in the ass to try and figure out how much movement you had to scale for stuff. Anyways, another thing that we can bring down to 0 will is T-Bolt or Lightning Bolt, because that one has a purple -1 will. If you get that, you just win the game. But we also have to consider, obviously, Spicy Foes is here. So what our hit probably is specific to Mosscloak. You can actually get your flurry down to 0 cost. Or again, with the old Ascensions and Augments. Assuming that that augment still exists, then we can get both Shielding Flurry and the -1 will, and then we can just spam that and win the game. So we're going to aim for that, but that may not actually be there. I guess we can actually take a look, can't we? Didn't they add these to the logbook? Sorry about this. Is it in collection? Augments. You're looking for the flurry. Discounted. -1 will cost. How much does this skill cost? Okay. Then just making sure, because what we would want to ascend it into would be Lethal Outburst, although it really doesn't matter. The whole... Wait, is it this one? No. It's Lethal Outburst. And the whole reason why we would do that is just to save our time. But honestly, any of these are going to work just fine. Because if it's free and it doesn't have a cooldown, who cares? It's just how many button clicks you want to do, and I don't want to have you guys wait here forever. So Lethal Outburst, if it gets lethal damage, we'll gain 3 Shuriken, which then means that we deal more damage, and that helps. And other than that, yeah, so long as we have shielding and discounted, we are good. So we're going to want to sort of pivot into that a little bit more, which means that we're going to want to pick up more glyphs because we're focused on our abilities this run. We can potentially get a purple up tier out of a binding empowerment, but otherwise that's where we're going to get our blue shielding, which is pretty important. So we're going to want to head for those straight away. And then let me just look at this set real quick. Everfrost. Bonus damage versus enemies with frostbite, okay. It's the same bonus? Like, at least it got the 25% that everything else has. That's kind of ass. Like, I guess, like, increasing the attack binding multiplier is cool, but I don't know. If you're abusing that, you've already won the game. That's my problem with it. One of the suggestions that I put in for Frostbite was that for every like stack of Frostbite, enemies deal less damage, like a damage reduction similar to Daze, up to a amount, of course. But yeah, that would sort of like fit it into Obelisk and Star Captain's like support / tanky role. Just my opinion. And then if you want to get some damage on it, you could get the Frostferno set. I believe it's called. These are not going to help our turn 1. We got a shield potion that could help our turn 1 simply because we'll be able to ignore everything. Does Blur actually... I'm willing to take a look at that just for the science. Because if Blur offsets spicy foes, then all we got to do is get Blur. Also, what do you do? Immune to rooted and ensnared. Your movement cannot go below 20. Okay. It also gives us a fabled. Pretty decent. Alright. I'm going to reroll here. These aren't... -1 base cooldown. Heck. Wait, I'm sorry. What? Otherwise, honestly, Sharp Throw is pretty good. This is the most sad augment I have ever seen, unless I am misunderstanding exactly what this means. Due to my testing last season, though, like, this is heinous. Like, it's increasing your per shuriken amount by 5, which is 1/6. That's not worth it. It's terrible. Unless they changed it to be like +5 per shuriken that you have, then it's exponential. Then I could kind of see it. And that's one of the things is that, like, to be honest, like the whole class identity is supposed to be like this is the crit class, right? So they're supposed to get critical hits more often and do like burst damage and use movement and stuff like that. And so then they got a whole bunch of shielding augments, which makes them one of the 3 tankiest classes in the game. And then they release Godkeeper, who's the crit class. Like, they pretty much lost all their burst damage, which is what they were supposed to do. Like, Flurry nowadays doesn't cut it. Like, you need Flurry to have stacks just so that you can frickin' do something. I know nobody asked, but since you're here to listen to my hot takes, it is my honest opinion that Moskloak was the 3rd worst class in the game before release. Oh, Spicy Foes. Reduces all incoming attack damage, but that doesn't affect... Yeah, that's clearly not blocking that. Yeah. So we wasted our first vestige. That's just gonna happen. Yeah, it's unfortunate that that does literally nothing for us. If we take Spiked, though, we could turn it into damage. So that's not too, like, bad. Also, Alchemist Tool Belt, it's till the end of the turn now. Oh, wait, Chalice of Champions is the one that scales permanently, yeah. So I don't feel like grabbing you. I think Rosy Thorn is fine, assuming that that interaction still exists, that enemies hitting us with, what's it called, counts as them hitting us for the sake of spiked and other on-hit effects. I'm going to choose to believe. Not against this. Verdant Seed is probably the correct answer. Because we're going to have to hit tentacles a lot. And if we don't solve for that, we're going to take a lot of damage. This is something that we would carry for quite a while. Now I kind of want to grab this. Not sure that that's correct. Do we want Cone of Frost? I'm not sure that we do. It's technically an instance of damage that does not proc spicy foes. So for that purpose, it's kind of okay. Blink can give us... Well, let's take a look here. Okay, we're doing this. I'm looking at the camera right now. You can't see it. The camera doesn't even work. Yeah, that's discounted flurry. So if you'd be nice enough to give us shielding flurry, we win. The reason why I did that is because I didn't want this skill to actually get in the way of doing that. So we took a hit on turn 1 because we lost 2 health. Otherwise, we literally cannot lose the game now. Right, because this is for each shuriken, so we have to single target. That is good to note. And actually, hold on. Is it each shuriken so then we hit extra? Because then we might not actually be okay. Because that phrasing there states that it's for each actual physical shuriken that we have. But you always deal 36 and then consume shurikens for extra attack. So if we do that, it's not good for us. We would need like a second shielding flurry if it's not exclusive. Or we need to find some other way to help mitigate that, that reflect damage that we're going to take. Yeesh. So with that said, I think that we need to take Blink and hope for a shielding augment. Because if we can just fit a bunch of greens in there, that'd actually be pretty good for us. And we already have our setup, so I don't think that we actually need any more like glyphs. We just need to hit a glyph globe at some point here. Do I want to buy something? I'm not sure. I'll take this. Alright, moment of truth. I'm still taking one. Is that true? There's really not much I can do about it. We don't have shielding here. Yeah. So our initial hit does not count as a shuriken. So we are in trouble. Yeah, because if we hit multiple targets, then we're only going to get one shielding per one that we use. So we're going to have to single target, and even then, it's going to cost us 1. So we need to get preliminary shielding in order for this to work at all. On second thought, this does also mean that the best move to go for was definitely, what am I trying to say? We needed, frick, I can't even think about it right now. I'm sure you guys know what I'm trying to say. Hopefully. That's still not enough, so then we won't. I'm not sure that that's correct. So how are we going to get shielding in this run? Good question. Good question. It can also be after combat healing, but later we're going to be using this a lot. If shielding... Well, it doesn't even work with shielding flurry, because if we have nothing, we're still going to hit ourselves once, because we don't have shield at the start of it. We need to find a means to generate shielding before we start going ham wild here. We're going to take this damage anyways. Might as well just take it. Unstable circuitry isn't bad. Like, we technically... Do we need a target? Because that might be the ticket. All these are terrible. Do I want to reroll though? Because that means not getting a one of these later. Guess we're taking Liar's Dice. Invig can heal us, and it can be free. This is some pure hopium right here. Doge! Yes! Is max HP actually the answer here? It obviously doesn't heal us for the sake of getting more score. It might actually just be grab more damage. And then we have to grab anything except the poison ascension for flurry. It's a glyph globule. I kind of want to be... Well... kind of also want to be here. Because I believe shielding blink... Again, we can look at this. Collection. Augments. What the frick? Bolstered? No. Does it no longer exist? No! Oh, there we go. It's blue. Restorative. Okay. But it itself cannot be free. So this is a way for us to get around that. I suppose re-rolling for Shield Wall also would be a good idea. Is there a... I thought there was at least a prepared. At least plated would do something. Otherwise... Oh no, we took Invig. No, this is Quicken. God, I don't even know anymore. Game 1 stack of Blur would actually be pretty hilarious. Especially with the new, what is it, the Ghost set? Anyways, let's get to... Shielding Dash is green. I like that. Okay, so we're probably going to go after the augments. Looking at everything else, though... distance, stockpiled. Gain 1 shuriken, your shuriken deal +3 damage. How? I don't understand. I need you to show me, alright? Like, what is the deal? We can also potentially still get Shielding Flurry, which is a blue. Okay, so we have done our due diligence. We want to go for 2 uncommon augments, thank you. Prickly Puffer is kind of cute. We can use that. We're probably going to use that, like, right now. Did we get access to shielding? I don't think we did. Yeah, we're still just sort of scuffed here. That's fine. That's fine. Who cares? Yeah, this requires a target. So this is actually, like, huge for us. The other one that would be good is the one that gives us shield on orbs. So we're going to take some more health damage here. There's no way to avoid that. In fact, we're going to take quite a bit of health damage here. This kills you? Okay. We're going to take damage anyway, so let's do it. Pump it. All right. What is this? It gives us Haunted, though. On being hit without losing HP, gain 1 spike damage until the end of combat. That's actually huge for us. I think we want that. And then we get Pincushion. Shielding Dash. It's something. Another Shielding Dash? Nope. I'm willing to reroll here. None of this really does anything. There's Restorative Invig. Okay. Okay. We have the tools. Do we want to grind anything? I'd rather just drop Elusive Whisper on the floor. Rosy Thorn's pretty big for us, because we do need access to the shielding. Unstable Circuitry is part of our plan. Spear of the Gods, we could double grind. It would give us more physical damage, technically. Liar's Dice. I don't know, these... Like, we have a bunch of garbage. Do we want to go to a Binding Empowerment, though? Like, that's kind of the tricky question there. Do we want nothing? What do you do at 2? On killing a treasure pot, gain 10 Omni damage. We're going to do that once. Unless we somehow get to 5. Which I suppose could happen. And treasure pots we can kill without, like, taking damage ourselves because they don't have the thorns. That's actually... That's an interesting solution, but with unstable circuitry. Yeah, sure. Let's swing for the fences a little bit. Swing. What the heck you got, Steve? This is garbage. Like, I can use this. Then that's Treasure Hunter 2. So I buy both of these, grind you, then I have Treasure Hunter 5. Where it's going to have to happen after this combat, but then we also get Striker, we get a little bit more damage. We start headed towards Bounty Hunter because we mark, like, by ourselves. Just due to the sets, this is good. Not even looking at, like, Harbinger's trophy here. Yeah. And then I'll take a Frozen Finger. You can get rid of that. And ta-da! We have Frostbite on things. At the start of our turn, inflict 1 Frostbite on all enemies, which is a damage multiplier for us. So it's honestly a little... I'm a little ashamed to get rid of this. This is pretty good for us. And I'm definitely not getting rid of this guy. Why am I not taking damage now? What's the deal? Like, seriously. I should be taking damage. I don't know. Anyways. You're not dealing damage to me either? Okay. I'm just checking to make sure that it doesn't suddenly decide that it wants to deal damage to me. Because otherwise we win here. Whoop. Gotcha. Okay. Just checking that everything was working. Okay, so going into Smite would be nice, because that'll allow us to get some more Smites out. And we can apparently just, like, snipe down the bosses, which is kinda dope. Of these, I'll be honest with you, we'll just take Shuriken Jutsu. Although it hits, is that good for us? That's really not good for us, so I suppose we just take Deadly Dance. I would really like to re-roll this, but we've already made our decisions in life. All this is terrible. Like, guess Resistant Invig does something. I suppose 1 cost discount to a random binding isn't nothing. Yeah, I don't know why I was thinking that that was nothing. I was thinking cooldowns for some reason. Alright, let's see if we can't breeze through the rest of this. I really don't want to spend the whole time just, like, slopping at enemies. That's still relevant. That's still relevant. This is probably better off grinded. Yeah, I think we want everything else. So yeah, getting a little bit more Storm King would certainly help us out by increasing our smite damage that we get for free for hitting the boss, because it's also another hit that hits the boss. And honestly, if we could tap that out, it'd be pretty good. We already got our shielding here. I think we're good on Augs then. Because we even got our Invig. So, give me money, I guess. We are going to have to take a Glyph Globule. Otherwise, we will not make it. Oh, he's here! He arrived early! I should probably get closer to you. Some magic damage would certainly help here as well. But Storm King scales us faster than that does, so... Alright. It's back! This is a crazy seed. We could probably have re-rolled in the first fight to get something that would have padded our HP. But otherwise, like at this point, the run just plays itself. I think Strengthening Dash is okay here. It's not worth a re-roll, that's for sure. I honestly, like, don't know. If there was something that allowed us to... I guess we're taking the Sea Breach, because it's, like, the best thing for us right now. A Vengeful Infusion is pretty good. Sure, I'll bite. And fact of the matter is, we can probably get rid of this. Because it's not going to keep Frostbite on people. It's only going to have Frostbite on them once. So with that said, we probably should have ground this up. Because if we would have ground that up, then we would be at Treasure Hunter 7, which will make it easier to get to 8. And there's really no point to that, I guess. Anyways. We need a Glyph Globe. So it's not even a decision. That is a lot of enemies. Who do you think is going to die first? I want to see your bets down in the comments. Who would have gotten one more crit? Beep a beep bap. I don't think that I can get closer to this cannon. We're just gonna have to deal with this. Well, that's definitely not okay. Wizard track still giving us movement despite. Guess I could move a little bit closer. Use this guy for free movement. Alright, leave this for next turn. I guess we could have used our extra will to invig. Oh yes, please, line up in a line. I'll be honest, these are not doing it for me. Chances are this is gonna pop. AO? We got 2 shark heads. Extra cooldown doesn't matter. Flash technically does something for us. I think we're using warp though. Use it to position enemies. Seems decent. One free use of that is good. Binding Empowerment doesn't do anything for us. Carver's Refuge, we could buy something. I'm about that. We need Storm King. There's Storm King right there. Increases smite damage. We also smite all enemies at the start of the turn. That's okay. It's not really that important for us. But it's something for our end game here. Maybe we stop doing the cheeky spike business now that we know that we don't need to do it. I'm trying to think of how much money. Oh, wait, we got treasure pots every map. We're fine. Hmm. That is kind of funny, though. You gotta admit. We don't really need the glyph globe. A heroic vault isn't bad, though. For a rare augment. Yeah, I think so. We don't need the glyph globe, but we need everything else that's there. Where is my boy? You're kind of the most dangerous, so I'm trying to like wiggle up close to you. Because I'm legitimately concerned about how we're going to defeat this enemy here. Just making sure that I'm taking no damage. Woo! In big. Spiraled Whirlwind's okay. We sort of like walked out of that build. We actually probably want to use all these. Junk. I mean, I guess we re-roll this. I think this actually works for spicy foes. So that's a little spiced, needless to say. I think that it's probably fine, since we almost have unlimited access to shields, but we really don't. As far as bossing is concerned, we pretty much just have to get past this next boss, which we can absolutely do. And then we have to get past Argoloth, which we can absolutely do. The problem is, can we get past the elites? And is this worth it? Because it's really only doubling our damage. Like, it's giving us 66 damage. I think that increasing our Storm King is not 66 damage, but I think that it's worth more than that is, especially if we can get to 5. So we're gonna reroll again. Harbinger's Trophy for the 4th time. No. There we go. Malfunctioning multi-tool. I think we can get rid of it. Well, Withered Tracks has really been doing work for us. I feel bad getting rid of it. Maybe it's getting rid of Frozen Finger now that we have more than enough Treasure Hunter. Again, we don't care about 8. We're probably going to... Doesn't even matter to double grind one of these, honestly. Yeah. Get rid of you. Vestigial. If I grind that, we'll be at 4... One more gets us there. Okay, I can deal with that. And to be honest, get rid of that. Alright, Steve, don't screw me. Okay. Okay, game. So that gets us to Storm King 5, which is huge. Obviously, it would be nice to get Storm King 8. Maybe we grind this at the final shop. But this will get us to where we want to be. And this is... We have more than enough. We might as well. Lost at end of turn. Hold up now. Hold up now. You lost the ability to be absolutely free. However, 20 Omni damage isn't going to do much for us. We actually have a ton of stats. I mean, I'm not going to walk away from it, right? Lacerating Flurry. Eh. Scavenging Throw. Eh. Alright, let's get out of here. We can always pop our Vengeful Infusion in a snap. Just look at him spin. He's dancing up there. Okay. Now we're just gonna have to be careful on how these guys come in at us, because we obviously don't want to walk or hit one of them. Why didn't you guys activate? AO? See, we have T-Bolt at home. I'll be honest. Critical Flurry sounds like the deal. It's not like we can get -1 cost discount again. And what is the other purple? Just to look at it. Now that we're just blowing through combats, I need to fill time somehow, apparently. Destructive? Oh, get out of my freaking face, dude! No! Yes, okay, we made the right choice. Oh! Yes. Tricksy. Very tricksy. Actually, you know what? How about you, take a ride? And we're just gonna bulk up. Battlecry kind of looking sick now, to be honest. I don't remember what it did before, but I had never taken it, so it had to have been terrible. None of this matters. I guess the one stack of blur at least does something for our survivability. Miser's Purse we're going to activate for more damage. It makes our battle cry like absolute garbage. Not really looking forward to it. What is this? Dice of Fates. We're only going to take 3 turns, so that doesn't really do much for us. I suppose. What do you have? Treasure Hunter? All Will's Bard isn't bad. I think that we can now do without Withered Tracks. Because 1 extra will means pressing this 1 extra time every turn. And I'm about that. Wait. Okay. I was like, why did that drop something? Anyways. At the very least, we could grind. I suppose that's the better idea. Open this up. Actually, I don't even know if grinding that's going to be worth it for us. So let's leave that there. I actually like grinding All Will's Bard. Because it just gives us more crit chance. It would be nice to get the extra 5, but it's really not necessary. And this, we can't afford to re-roll because we make so much money. If we actually would have put a bleed on here, this actually might have looked good, but it still doesn't quite look good to me. What is this? No. Blessed Brickstone. We could grind that for some crit damage. That's not nothing. Okay. Zephyrian. A little bit more crit damage. And mythos that we don't care about. I suppose we gotta get it, like, +1, right? Or whatever the frickin' thing is. And we got the space for it. It's even possible... Like, I'm looking at this here, and we're only gonna master, like, 4 vestiges, but I suppose that's okay. It's more than we deserve. These guys also aren't doing anything. We could have replaced it with something, but, like, what? What? We're going to end it in about the usual time. I certainly spent a lot of time looking through the book and talking about absolutely nothing. That shock is actually huge, dude. Ah. Okay, we are going to do this. And we're going to get out. Ah, yes, more tentacles. That's exactly what I want. Raising? Okay. How did that go down? Is this actually not till rest of combat? Oh, because the bolstered. We had bolstered from before. That's what we're losing. Okay. It's like, wait a frickin' minute. Also, are we just killing now? Overall, a pretty good score. Over 45,000. Again, most of that breakage was just us losing health in the earlier levels. We didn't take any turn deficits, as far as I know. And, yeah, it was possibly a reroll. If you could have picked up... I don't know if Misting Bells is white anymore. Let's, oh, we can't really take a look here anymore. But whatever the plus, or even actually +5 shielding on first turn would be fine. Or plus, any, what am I trying to say? Bastion, Vestige, yeah, any of that stuff. If you reroll and get one of those instead of the useless thing that we picked up, and I don't even remember what it was anymore. Oh yeah, the blur, because I thought the blur was going to block it. Yes, otherwise, reroll, get something that's going to shield you. You can easily beat the first fight, and by the end of... It was after the second fight we were online. So... Yeah, I'm trying to think about what you would have to do there. You would have to figure it out somehow. But shielding dash is green, so maybe it was re-rolling your starting kit there and getting a shielding dash to be able to gain the 2 shield that we lost, or the 2 health that we lost. That would get you past the first fight. And since it doesn't have a cooldown, it might get you past the second fight. I don't know. I don't know how you get past that second fight, but if you can do that without taking damage, you're cruise control. Anyways, I think we played very well. Again, the 3 Harbingers trophies were kind of BM at the end of it. Uh, Zephyrian was nothing. Like, it technically allowed us to deal more damage to Argoloth because of how his tentacles work. And yeah, unstable circuitry just carrying us. And being able to get that Storm King up, pretty good. And we were 6. See, even Leto and Arg didn't get a perfect score. That makes me feel a little bit better. I feel like this is, again, just your fight 1. Maybe your fight 2. Because we took a lot of damage in fight 2 because there was just so many enemies that it doesn't matter. You got to take damage from them. Did we actually take damage in fight 3 as well? We got down to 30 somehow, so I kind of feel like that's the case. Anyways, yeah, if you solve the shielding early, which I know that Arg is a huge fan of re-rolling your starting vestiges. I'm guessing that Leto is too because he's a capital G gamer. Quite possibly, they're in the running of top 3 best players of the game, in my opinion. And I'm not just saying that because he like ends up here. Like, they're good. Um, But yeah, re-rolling your starting vestiges was probably the move there to stop a little bit of this breakage here, which could have gotten us up here. Because as far as I know, we had more than enough glyphs, we had more than enough quillings, we had all of our health. It was literally just the health and the amount of health that we lost. And you can scoot up this. Anyways, hopefully the run was educational. I feel like we actually covered a lot of stuff. That's good. Anyways, if the run was educational or entertaining, as always, feel free to leave any feedback down below, be it questions, comments, concerns, misplay alerts. And until next time, I'll catch you guys around.